Yo, you sitting down? You better stand the hell up, cause what I'm about to drop right now ain't meant to be heard sitting. Picture this. A dude from the Juana Matos projects in Cataño. Since he was a shorty, he was running with the heaviest hitters from Al-Qaeda. His name was being dropped in tracks before he even spit a single bar himself. He got back for a double homicide on 2 minors and beat the case cause the witness never showed up to court. Then he eats 6 years federal for a stolen Glock, gets moved 25 times across the US like a FedEx package, gets out, drops a hit with El Proceso, brokers the peace deal for Anuel, rides on Los Dioses, buys his pops a Corvette, and then he snips his ankle monitor and goes ghost for 2 whole years while still dropping heat and videos like nothing happened. And the craziest shit, one day all of Puerto Rico wakes up mourning him because they said he got smoked at a beach in Toa Baja, and the very next day he drops a video saying, "Ain't nobody killed me." That same day he gave a straight up backhand to the feds, the press, the gossip blogs, and the whole damn internet. Hanzel Elias Diaz Arroyo, Hanzel Laach, the one with the white eyes, the hitman on call, the one Pacho el Antifeca raised like a son. Today he's back in the federal feds, but his name is ringing out louder than ever. This is a real life story. Few people will tell you straight, the details that burn, the codes that don't break, and the truth that hurts. If you thought the first part was heavy, strap in, because we're going deep into the trenches. Hit play, and don't stop till the end, because this ain't a video, this is a real life hood movie. You feeling my videos? Follow and hit that like button, because we're about to get into it. The shorty from Juana Matos, born around rifles. Look, let's start from zero for the ones just jumping on. Hanzel Elias Diaz Arroyo was born in Cataño, specifically in the Juana Matos projects, a hood that everyone in Puerto Rico knows ain't no playground. He grew up right there watching Pacho el Antifeca run the streets and the music. He played ball with Pacho's kids, slept at his crib, watched how the Al-Qaedas move and how the drug spots were handled. His family was regular, mom and dad present. One brother became an evangelical pastor, another joined the army, straight up Christian household. But since he was a kid, Hanzel decided that church and a 9-to-5 wasn't for him. He wanted the streets and the streets wanted him. By 20, he was already getting shoutouts in songs. Kendo Caponi, LA El Dominio, the whole Al-Qaeda crew had him stamped as one of the shooters from the projects. In 2012, he got his first big collar, pointing a strap at a cop and getting caught with fake IDs. He should have eaten years for that, but the case fell through. But 2 years later, in 2014, comes the case that changed his life. The 27th of September 2013, 2 minors are killed in Juana Matos, Brian Rodriguez Reyes, 13, and Javier Colombera, 17, riddled with bullets inside a Mazda 929. The cops say it was a case of mistaken identity. By January 2014, the paper's headline, Hanzel Elias Diaz Arroyo, 22, charged in absentia for the murder of 2 minors. They bag him in a raid at the projects with 2 straps, 8 mags, drugs, and 2 cars. Hanzel always said the same thing in interviews. They were blaming me for something I didn't do. The press was on my neck. I was like, damn, these people want to take justice into their own hands. I love kids. Everyone knows I got 7 of my own. The key witness was another 9-year-old who got hit in the shootout. And he never showed up to testify. Word on the street was, threats were made, or someone got paid off to let the case die. The end result, federal probation, and back to the streets. But Hanzel didn't learn. A few months later, they pull him over. He's carrying a stolen Glock 23 modified to go full auto with 2 extended sticks. He already had a record, already on Fed probation. This time there was no fix. The judge handed him 6 years federal, straight up. From 2014 to 2020, Hanzel vanished off the map, but he was really building the legend we know today. 6 years federal, 25 transfers, and the birth of the real Laach. The feds made him disappear. They gave him a full 6-piece for that stolen, switched-up Glock. And when you fall federal in Puerto Rico, you ain't going to a local jail, you're in the whole US system. Hanzel said it himself. They transfer him 25 times in 6 years. That's like moving every 3 months, fam. He started at MDC Guaynabo, then FTC Miami, then Oklahoma, Mississippi, Atlanta, the USB Atlanta Castle, North Carolina, back to Oklahoma, a whole day, 2 whole days shackled hand and foot on Con Air, the prisoner plane. Imagine, no sleep, no real bathroom, freezing, hungry, with other inmates talking shit. And every time he hit a new spot, straight to the hole, solitary, cause he'd get caught with a burner phone. Hanzel said he was in the hole more than 5 times, once for almost a year straight. 9+ months in a tiny room where the sun don't shine, that's where everything shifted. Bored with nobody to talk to, he started writing for real. He taught himself English, learned to play piano from books he was allowed to have, read the whole Bible, read books about American gangsters, and wrote bars after bars. One day, out of the hole, he gets a clandestine burner and calls Pacho. Pacho answers, "Hello." Hanzel just starts spitting bars without even saying hi. Pacho went quiet and said, "Yo, who the hell is rapping like that? Where'd you get that?" Hanzel said, "Pops, I wrote that." Pacho flipped. He told him, "Finish that. I'm putting it on a track with L.A. El Dominio." That's how Donde Están was born, dropped in 2019, while Hanzel was still locked up. Those were his first official bars hitting the street. He still had years to go and already had a hit. In those prisons, Hanzel saw it all. Who was who folded and who didn't. He said prison taught him that family ain't always blood. It taught him pain and how to never let nobody tell you that you can make it. He got harder, quieter, and more real. And every time they moved him, he'd buy another burner because he couldn't go without checking on his kids. Imagine having an 8-day-old baby and being in the hole in Oklahoma. That breaks most men, but it made Hanzel stronger. 2020, he hits the streets, drops El Proceso, and fixes Anuel's beef. Late 2019, early 2020, after eating that whole federal sentence, Hanzel H touches the pavement again, but he's got Fed probation, an ankle monitor, and the US Marshals breathing down his neck. But he also had Pacho El Antifeca waiting for him like a real father. Pacho had been telling him for months, "Put the rifles down, get on the music, you got talent, nobody else has." Hanzel didn't want to at first, saying music was for people who didn't know how to do anything else. But Pacho pushed so hard that on the 1st of January 2020, they dropped El Proceso. The track was an atomic bomb. Raw lyrics, no filter. He talks about the 6 years, the hole, the Glock, the codes, and how the 3 letters, FBI, ATF, DEA, are chasing him to slap a Rico on him, but he keeps on drilling. The video was fire. Hanzel in a turban, those white eyes glowing, Guanamatos in the back, real rifles, real cars, real street. All of Puerto Rico went nuts. 2 weeks later, Pacho puts him on camera for the first time. "Look at this dude. This is Hanzel, the one with the white eyes." That nickname stuck forever. 2020 was the year Hanzel laid the island. He dropped track after track. People connected because it wasn't a front. This dude was rapping what he lived, period. Meanwhile, the streets were messy. Anuel AA was beefing with Cosculuela and couldn't even walk through Puerto Rico peacefully because of issues with heavy hitters. Who fixed that? Pajo and Hanzel. They were the ones who sat Anuel down with the real capos, the ones running the project, the ones who decide who lives and who doesn't. They calmed everything down. Because of that, Anuel could come back to the island and record in peace. And not just that, Hanzel ended up writing bars for the Los Dioses album by Anuel and Ozuna. When that dropped in 2021, Hanzel was locked up again, but the royalties were fat. What'd he do with the first big bag of cash? He bought his pops a brand new Corvette Stingray for his 70th birthday. Imagine, an old man whose son was always locked up or on the run, and suddenly his son gives him a $80K car. That's loyalty, that's respect, that's pure Juanamatos. Cutting the monitor, going ghost, and being left for dead. But freedom never lasted long for Hanzel. September 2020, they bag him again for violating Fed probation. He caught 3 clear infractions, traveling to Orlando without permission, lying about where he lived, and the big one hanging out with ex-cons on probation, Pacho and Anuel AA. That last one was during the meeting to fix Anuel's street issues. The feds don't play. 2 months after that meeting, they arrest him and give him a year straight. He gets out in October 2021 with an ankle monitor again. You think Hanzel stayed home like a good boy watching Netflix? Hell no. On the 8th of October 2021, he snips the monitor and vanishes. 3 days later, the federal warrant drops. Heinz Elias Diaz Arroyo, aka La H, one of the FBI's most wanted in Puerto Rico. His face is on every channel, every social media feed, the US Marshals website, but Hanzel became a total ghost. 2 whole years as a fugitive, 2 years with a federal warrant, a bounty on his head, and every cop on the island looking for him, and he was still recording music, dropping videos, and moving through Puerto Rico like it was nothing. Nobody knew where he slept, but the tracks kept coming. Randy Johnson, Un Verano en Cataño, collabs, everything. People were saying this dude has a deal with the devil. Though, the craziest shit happened in May 2022. Suddenly, social media explodes. Hanzel H killed in a shootout with police in Toa Baja. Big outlets posted it, gossip pages confirmed it. Even serious newspapers said there was a double homicide in a sting against a gang. All of Puerto Rico woke up crying, posting RIP, doing lives, while Hanzel was chilling in a studio editing the video for Un Verano en Cataño. He never denied a thing. He let the rumor run for hours. Family and friends were hitting him up desperate. "You alive, bro?" He stayed quiet. The next day, he dropped the video. Turban on, white eyes glowing, 20 dudes behind him, straight lyrics. "Everyone carries a Glock, that don't make you real. Nobody here has killed me." Puerto Rico went silent. He clowned the feds, the press, the gossip mags, everybody. In one move, he became a living legend. The only dude who faked his death and was more alive than ever the next day. The murder of Pacho and the filthy rumors. Then came the day nobody wanted. The 1st of June 2023, Pacho el Antifeca, the man who raised Hanzel, took him off the street and made him sing got killed in broad daylight at a shopping center in Bayamón. Security cameras caught it all. Pacho pulls up in his black Infiniti, gets out, and they hit him with over 30 shots. Hanzel was still on the run. He couldn't mourn him in public, couldn't go to the wake, couldn't go to the cemetery. He was hiding, watching it all on his phone. And that's when the nastiest rumor started. That Hanzel sold Pacho out, that he set him up, that Hanzel had something to do with it. Pure bullshit, with zero proof. But the people from Juana Matos, the real ones who know the codes, never believed that garbage. They knew Hanzel saw Pacho as a father. Pacho's own son, months later, dropped the track Dawn with Hanzel. If Pacho's family and the hood were still with Hanzel, who the hell was anyone else to talk shit? The 10th of July 2023, the ghost is caught. The 10th of July 2023, the US Marshals and PR police set up a massive operation in Comerío. Hanzel was in a rented apartment, chilling with a woman. The feds bust in heavy. He tried to bail out the bag, but he didn't resist. They bag him, shackle him, and throw him in the car, straight to MDC Guaynabo. Why they catch him? Violation of federal probation since 2021 when he caught the monitor, plus new charges for possession of a firearm as a prohibited person. Same thing that happened 10 years prior. He's currently locked up, facing serious time. Locked up but the music never dies. Since July 2023, Hanzel has been back in the feds. They moved him to a prison in the US, and as of today, December 2025, he's still in there paying his dues. But prison has never been able to shut him up. The Ojos Blancos EP dropped while he was inside, and it hit hard. Collapsed with Ángel, Julito, and the heaviest one, Pacho el Antifeca, who was already gone by then. Imagine dropping a track with your street father after he was taken from you. That hits different. From the feds, Hanzel kept sending music like he was in a luxury studio. He recorded over the phone, sent the vocals, and someone outside cleaned them up and dropped them. People are split. Some say when he gets out, he's gonna drop the biggest album the island has ever seen. Others think he's really changed, that this time prison hit him differently, and he just wants to see his 7 kids grow up without looking over his shoulder. But everyone agrees, Hanzel H is one of the few who raps the real truth in Puerto Rico. He's never talked to the cops, never broken a code, never folded even when his back was against the wall. In the underworld, that's worth more than any platinum record or gold chain. That's eternal respect. The codes that never break. Let's be real. Hanzel H is 33 and has spent more time locked up or on the run than free. He's been accused of everything, drugs, murder, setups, but never has a single shred of solid proof come out. No witness has ever stood up in court and said Hanzel snitched. Never. That's why the hood respects him. He lives by the law he repeats in every song. I don't talk to cops, I don't snitch. I don't mess with kids or women. If you come for me, I'm coming back. He hasn't crossed that line in 33 years. Today, December 2025, Hanzel is still behind bars, but his name is ringing louder than ever. In the underworld, there's only one thing that isn't forgiven. Being a traitor, and Hanzel never betrayed, he never folded, he never sang. That's why Juana Matos still treats him like a king. Street respect isn't bought with views. It's earned by living the codes, and Hanzel lived them all. And that, my people, is why Hanzel H is a living legend. Not for the tracks, but because he's real. And in this game, being real is the hardest thing of all. There you have it, the full story. Uncensored and no lies. A man who paid for every decision with years of his life, who faked his death and came back stronger, and whose voice still echoes from a federal cell. Thanks for sticking till the end. If this moved you, share it. Drop a comment. What's your favorite Hanzel track? Do you think he'll change when he gets out, or will the streets claim him again? I read everything. Subscribe, hit the bell, and don't miss what's coming. Peace to Puerto Rico and everyone living real. We out.